Hello and welcome to another episode of Attention Span Labs. I'm your host, Mike DiBaggio, and today, a few days after Christmas, I'm going to talk to you about what I got for Christmas. This is not scripted or planned, and to be honest with you, I didn't really prepare my thoughts all that much. So it's going to be more of a vlog sort of style. But the first thing I wanted to draw your attention to is my nice clean workspace. As you can see, I've spent some time cleaning it up since that picture I posted. If you're one of my wonderful subscribers, you've probably seen the picture in the community tab a few months ago, where I posted a picture of what a real work area looks like, contra all these fancy YouTubers. Now I'll always show you these ultra clean areas, but now I'm going to lie to you, show you this ultra clean area. I won't say I made it a New Year's resolution, because I don't really make New Year's resolutions like that, or really at all. But I did want to get more stuff done in general, and in order to do that, I was at a crisis point, where I really needed to clean up my space. So yeah, I did I think an excellent job with all that. And no, that's not done yet. We don't look at that. We don't look at that either. Okay, so not everything got done exactly as planned, but I did manage to. Okay, so not everything went according to plan. I had a few interruptions. Okay, so the cleaning's a work in progress, but I did have some other things to deal with. So as I was saying, actually I don't remember what I was saying. But anyway, you can see a couple of the reasons why I haven't made too many videos lately. But let's get back to Christmas. Right, so I'm going to show you the gaming related stuff that I got. And actually I think it's quite a haul. Not as much as when I was a kid, of course. But one of the unexpected joys of growing up is that you learn that what old people told you when you were a kid is actually true, but something you can't believe as a kid, which is that giving gifts to other people is even better than getting them yourself. But I got to have a very good time this year. We normally do the literal 12 days of Christmas. Okay, not the literal, because I don't give people geese and anything like that, but starting on Christmas, I give my son and daughter a gift each day for the next 12 days. We're kind of running out of gifts now, so we may not make it to day 12, unfortunately. But yeah, so that's been really enjoyable. But so I'm going to start talking about. There's only going to be game-related stuff. I'm going to start talking about stuff that I got from other people first, and then stuff that I bought myself. Okay. So, first things first, I got these nice dice trays, which, yeah, I'm sure everybody out there probably has these, but I actually never had these, so I was kind of got it threw dice all over the table. But my friend Jeff, who plays RPGs with us and also plays war games, he plays Japan in Konflikt 47. He runs a D&D 5e campaign, which we all play in, and he also plays in my Sword of Cepheus campaign, which I'll be doing videos on at some point. But he got me these. He also got me this nice, very nice, you can see the Frazetta art there. This is a GM's manual. You can see there's hex maps, Cartesian, can you see that? Hex maps, a Cartesian plane for drawing dungeons, regional maps, and it goes down until you get to sub-regional maps, which I will talk about in a bit. So basically, hexes within a hex. An isometric map. I hope you can see that. Yeah. So isometric maps are fun. I like them. They show the three-dimensional relief a little better, a little more fun to do. There's some ready-made towns and dungeons in there. Anyway, this is from the Swordfish Islands, which if you've watched, what's that called? Questing Beast, you've probably seen, like the Hot Springs Island review. That's part of it. But this, he backed this, I guess, as part of a Kickstarter. And he had one of these books, and he got an extra one for me, and that's very nice. This is definitely going to be used a lot. It's a very nice, high quality binding. Got nice Frank Frazetta art. There's some probability tables in the back, and some random tables. This is for descriptions, but random tables are the bread and butter of any in my opinion, good GM, because you're going to the best GMing is done in a sandbox, and you're going to create a very broad outline, and you're going to fill in details, but you're not going to know exactly what's going to be everywhere because you don't have a plot that you're not railroading your characters through. But it's really hard to do that without reliance on a lot of random tables. And I love random tables. I'm a OSR or Bro SR kind of guy, and we'll talk about that in a bit too. It's always been sort of the way since I got started into RPGs in the mid 90s. That some of that had been lost, but the idea of story gaming wasn't really a thing to me, or sitting down every night and doing a pre-planned adventure where you have everything all worked out. Unless you bought a book that had the adventure in it, right? That just wasn't something, and I didn't have money to buy books like that, so I like making my own adventures, but that's the kind of gameplay I like. I know others differ. Other people are wrong, however. Anyway, so thank you, Jeff. Thank you for giving me these nice gifts. My friend Russ, who is another man in our game group, he asked me what I want because he couldn't really think of anything, but I said I wanted a shore bonder. And I have, I like making terrain, and hot glue is a super important tool in that. And I heard good things about the shore bonder. This is I forget what exact model this is. This is a dual temp, but I wanted one that had heads that you could switch off. There's precision heads and flat heads, and believe it or not, that kind of stuff is actually really helpful. Let's see if I can find one that's here as I just knock everything down. Well, actually, the heads are over here, of course. What am I doing? So I haven't used these yet. I tried to put them on, and I could not get the nozzle off. And I figured, well, I want to do the nozzle before I put any glue through it. And it turns out that's exactly the wrong thing to do. The manual actually says you have to heat it up first in order to get the nozzle off. And I was actually able to get it off, but first I'm thinking that, well, that has to do with because if there's glue in it, the glue itself is going to bind the nozzle to it. But apparently, even if there's no glue in it, it would not come off without being heated. So things you probably wouldn't think of. Yeah, but this is a very good gun. It's got a nice trigger grip. It's got a very nice stand. But the main thing I wanted was the nozzles, and I haven't actually used them yet. I have used the shore bonder though, but it is a very nice piece. So thank you, Russ, for that. Now I'm going to show you some very nice apple barrel or folk art or whatever they are. These are folk art paints. And so my wife got me these for Christmas. She got me a tissue box, and inside the tissue box are these paints. This is Color Shift Blue Brilliant paint. The Color Shift is nice because you actually can turn it. I think I've shown Color Shift paints on some of my crafts here, but they're color in one angle, one color in one angle, and another color in another. This is a glow-in-the-dark red. I didn't know they make glow-in-the-dark paint, but there's a neon blacklight rose, pink rose, neon blacklight rouge, not to be confused with rogue. Got all these rouge nations causing trouble in the world. Glow-in-the-dark yellow, neon blacklight, neon yellow. It's a very fine 1990s color right there. I used to have, when I was in like 3rd grade, I had shirts that were that color. It was hot stuff back in the day. Glow-in-the-dark blue, neon blacklight, neon blue again. I think I already did that one. No, I didn't. Neon blacklight, neon orange. Glows with the black light. I don't know whether that means like an ultraviolet light, which I have for curing resin, but or just like a black light bulb, which they sell around Halloween time. Glows in the dark orange, neon black light green, glow in the dark pink again, glow in the dark green, neutral glow, which is to me very interesting. I'll talk about that in a second. And neon black light purple. Now, what the hell am I going to do with these? You say, like, that's probably not going to paint miniatures there. Maybe, maybe not. Certainly, I mostly use these kind of paints on terrain. But we've been, my wife and I have been talking about. We've actually been making some jungle tiles, normal jungle tiles, but we've been talking for a while about making a alien jungle, something maybe especially based out of Super Metroid. And we thought making some of our own weird plants and painting them these really bright, vibrant, unearthly colors would be a cool thing. So that's what we're going to do. We'll hopefully have a few videos on that in a few weeks or months. You know, who knows? Who has time to make videos these days? But that's the plan with these. I may also put some on some miniatures or statues or something like that. I'm actually making, these are the beginnings of some standing stones. So I may put some weird kind of Pictish art on, I don't know, I say Pictish, I don't know, the Picts, yeah, the Picts were from Scotland, right? I'm sure they had they paint up their menhirs. I don't know if they had neon colors, but a fantasy one surely would. And I am kind of working on fantasy miniatures, which will be a real break for me. I have a small halfling army I want to build, and then some very nice old hammer type miniatures, which I'm going to do a video on. But sort of the wilder the better. But yeah, these are, this is actually one of my favorite gifts, so thank you, Michelle, my wonderful wife, for these gifts. And Michelle, by the way, she's a very, if you've seen her channel, like, she's a very good artist, illustrator, but she paints miniatures and stuff too. She doesn't just like draw comic book characters and so forth, but she's a good miniature painter, and she actually has helped on, if you watch some of my older videos, she's helped on several of my projects before, and she's really used some wild colors, and I'm impressed with them. Okay, so I'm going to clear this up a little bit so I have a bit more room and talk about some stuff that I got myself. Okay, so the first thing here I want to talk about, I'm going to stick to the RPG related stuff first. These are CDs. CD stands for compact disc. You may not know that because they don't sell computers with compact disc players anymore, which is why these are still unopened. I have to break out my old computer because I didn't realize that my new laptop that I actually got for work, I can't even play these. Anyway, this is the complete collection, this one here, of the game 2300 AD, previously known as Traveler 2300, which was, maybe I should start with this one. Yeah, so this is the original, all the original Traveler books. Traveler was one of the very first RPGs right after, not too long after D&D. It was probably the first significant science fiction RPG, still going strong and different. But this is from the original Game Designers Workshop GDW edition. This is all of the Traveler books. on one or more CDs, right? 2300 was originally called Traveler 2300. This is all of those books, but it actually isn't in the Traveler universe. It's actually, believe it or not, the Twilight 2000 universe, which is very cool. I actually didn't get the Twilight 2000 CD because I have a bunch of the Twilight 2000 books already. But yeah, so this takes place several hundred years, I guess 300 years after the Twilight War in Twilight 2000. And humanity has expanded into space. This is a more gritty, realistic one, whereas Traveler is like a far, far future one. This has all of the, and these two are game magazines. All the issues of the JTAS, the Journal of the Traveler's Aid Society, and Challenge Magazine, which followed after JTAS. Which this was obviously just the Traveler, and this then had covered all of GDW's other games and I think other books as well. Now, I have a few of both of these in hardcover actually that I bought from the same guy who I bought these from, my MeWe friend Wayne's Books. It's an interesting name, isn't it? Right, first name Wayne's, second name's Books, right? No, that's actually not his. Oh, interesting too. His address, the address of his game store, is on the John Wayne Parkway in Arizona. Anyway, yeah, Wayne's Books is a very cool guy. He has a great business, a lot of great older stuff, but also new stuff. He does trades, and he is very, very fair in trades. It's not like going to GameStop, trying to sell your old games, and they give you like a quarter for them. Hey, speaking of GameStop, I have a bad story to tell you about them, Christmas related, but maybe I'll tell you another time, or later on in this video. But yeah, Wayne's Books. I should cover up that coupon code so you don't steal it on me. Man, what was I thinking? Anyway, check out Wayne's Books. You can buy these there. They're on discount. I think I paid like, I don't know, not too much, like $30 for these. And I got one free. So it was buy 3, get the 4th free. So very cool. I'll be eager to check them out. I'll probably do a longer video review on them. So, all right. Next, on to some tabletop RPG Kickstarter stuff I backed. Let's do this one first. Ugh. This is a Tokyo phone book. No, this is the RPG called Ascendant by Alex Macris. Very, very awesome RPG theoretician and OSR designer. You probably know him if you haven't seen one of his TED Talks, which actually gives a very good TED Talk on why you should not be listening to videos like this, and why you should not be listening or playing on your cell phone and stuff like that, about attention span. But anyway, this is his, you know him from Adventure Conqueror King system, which is an excellent OSR D&D style system. This is his love letter, sort of, to the excellent 80s superhero RPGs. He specifically says he's inspired by the very great and much beloved by me TSR Marvel Superheroes RPG, the Face Rip system. The Mayfair DC superhero, I guess it was called DC superhero role playing, from around the same era, and it sort of combines the logarithmic scale of the DC superheroes with the Face Rip style. It has a universal table, right? If you watched any of my videos on the Face Rip games before, you know what that is. And this is, I've only, skimmed the surface of this, and I've read many pages, but I've still only skimmed the surface. This is really exciting to me as someone who both is very much likes that style of role-playing, but also loves superheroes. And I'm eager to start making character profiles for our Ascension Epoch characters. But, yeah, so it combines the best of both of those systems with like a very uber customizable champion style customization system and it is very complete. Now this is freaking 500 pages, right? And it's not 500 pages of crap. And then you can see, interestingly, at the back, it has a whole section on real world superpowers. So it covers things like how actress Mary Lou Henner, if you remember from Taxi, she can like remember exactly what she did at like 1 o'clock in on April 3rd of 1977. I actually watched the video of her doing that. And there's people with like that just don't get tired. The dude that can run a marathon every day for like a month. These are real. This is his assessment if you wanted to do like more quote unquote realistic, unbreakable style superheroes. Based on real people. This is he did a ton of research on that, but this is really amazing. He has there's a bestiary in here, which is good. There's a criminal. There's a list of like criminals and adversaries you can fight. He has these characters. He made it for his own setting. Some of them are very, very interesting. I don't really like the setting he's come up with. That's nothing on him. That's just a personal preference. It's very much world outside your window kind of thing. And in the front, there's there's some great cheesecake art, which I'm going to be honest and just say we don't see enough of it. We don't see enough of it in RPGs anymore. They're too busy trying to be like showing ugly people and stuff. I guess because they don't have talented artists, but also because they're SJW scum, which we'll also talk about in a minute. But not with this book. There's the universal table. There's a bit too much like Twitter and stuff and blogging and stuff going on. Like there's a whole universe, stuff like that. And to me, that's not escapist enough. I think this was a good missed opportunity to do alternate history. Hint, hint. If you like alternate history superheroes, you'll probably like the Ascension Epoch. But we're not talking about the Ascension Epoch right now. We're talking about this game, Ascendant. And this is awesome. It's without going into too much, your stats are based on what they call SPs, the supermetric points, and there's so like your SP and strength is that I think that's called might in this game, right? So if you have a 5 in might, so what does might apply to? Well, it can apply to a bunch of different things, which is interesting. But like it can apply to. It's mostly going to apply to weight, like lifting things. So you have strength of 5. You can lift 800 pounds. That's like, I think it's like above your head and everything. That's like Captain America, the comic book Captain America style, right? But you can have things like, the ability to shift your mass, like do like a power pack kind of thing, like a molecular mistress of density, right? So there's a density table. If you have like a 6 in that, or let's say 8 in that, right? You can go down to you can reduce yourself to the density of, say, ethanol, ice, or water, 50 pounds per cubic foot, right? Or you can make yourself super dense like vision, right? You get like the sun's core, 6,500 pounds. So there's a ton. There's like speed on this. And one of the things that Alexander Macris actually mentions in some of his, you get the feel reading his, especially through the combat system and everything, is that he addressed a lot of the flaws that he saw with face rip, some of which that I and my wife and others brought up in the face rip video that we did. And I don't know if I can put it up on the screen, but I'll link it at the end. But like, how he specifically gave the example of like, if Punisher's shooting at someone, doesn't matter whether it's Spider-Man or Aunt May, he has the same chance because it's purely based on his skills, versus this does a comparison. So you actually do like, it's your effective power minus the other person's effective power, or the obstacle, the armor, or whatever. And then from that point, you get that final number, and then there's, oh my goodness, I'm knocking the camera down. But from that, then there's all these, that number you get, which could be from a -6 up to a +6, and then you get your own universal table. And it's all a D100 percentile dice roll. And there's an extra color, orange, right? There is the white, which is generally missed, green, yellow, orange. The scaling on that is very good. Damage is much more significant at higher levels. There's some of that nice cheesecake art. It's a bit, as my my friend Artanon says a bit 90s image, which is, not the greatest, but it has definitely a certain memorable style to it. But yeah, it's a very, very complete book, and we give you something that like blew me away. There's extensive rules on like vehicles and objects. So you pay money to have normal objects that you can buy at the store, but for things that are like, say, Thor's hammer or Captain America's shield that like only your character has, or that are magical or something like that, you pay character points for it. Which brings me to my, if I have one real significant criticism without having played this yet, is that it is a point buy generation system. It's not that I dislike point buy. I find that it makes character generation into like a whole session, which I don't like. I think it, and some people are paralyzed by it. I know there's a lot of story gamers that have that, pre-make their character before they even know what the game is. And I don't play with those people. I recommend that you don't either. But most of the people I've ever played with sit down like, well, they have at best a very vague idea of what kind of character. But if you sit down, like you say, you got 2,000 points, build this character, and they're like, they're struggling with it, and I would too, frankly. So a random character generation system, like in Face Ripper or the Marvel Superheroes RPG, which actually does create very, very interesting characters and forces you to come up with good explanations for things. Would be welcome. But there's stuff in here that's just crazy, like how to build gadgets, which is super important to a superhero system. There's fatigue and exhaustion, which I think is important to a more realistic sort of superhero gaming. There's like all this. It is somewhat math heavy, but it's not. It's pretty straightforward math, but it's like, here's how much might you need to stop out of control vehicle. Here's how much damage a ramming attack, a collision does, and both to the target and to the vehicle or the speedster themselves, right? There's stuff on here is like, this is how you stop a tornado. This is how you absorb radiation. This is how much damage is done by an atomic bomb of a certain size and magnitude. This is how you create or stop diseases. Here's how you stop fires and the magnitude of the fire. And this is how much time it would take to extinguish. And this is how much fire control power you need, so much pyrokinesis and stuff like that. This is awesome. Now, this is available now for purchase on DriveThruRPG. Now, I got it. You can see here in the crime fighter level, it says Ascension Epoch. Can you see that? Whoop. Yeah, that's my wife and I. That's our books, Ascension Epoch. So we backed this, we backed at a level that we got basically the book at cost from DriveThruRPG's print. Now, DriveThruRPG, you go on there now, and they're going to tell you it's going to take 6 weeks to get it. This took like a week and a half to 2 weeks, so it was good. This is well worth getting. I don't know what this, so anyway, because I backed it at the Kickstarter level and I got it at cost, I don't know what the actual book costs to the if you didn't back it. You can also get it in PDF though, but I recommend getting all your books in hardcover. Look at that, protect coastline, water control versus tsunami wave. Like, this is, he did a ton of research in this, and you can tell how to deal with pyroclastic flow. I mean, it is a math heavy book, but it's like you're gonna want to have this on hand. But boy, when you're running a superhero game, especially if you're high power or you're in like some kind of really zany situation, which happens very often in superhero campaigns, you just sometimes you're like, wow, how do I even deal with the situation? And there's a lot in here for that. So yes, Ascendant, superpowered role-playing game of infinite possibilities. Definitely buy this. This is a definite buy. All right, moving on. This is Filling in the Blanks, a guide for populating hex crawls by Todd Lebach. This is designed for use with old school essentials, OSE, you may hear it called. I actually don't have the original OSE. I have the original OSE in PDF, but I have the OSE Advanced edition in hardcover. They're very nice books. I backed this at Kickstarter too. This is another pay cost print book from Drive-Thru RPG. This also was delivered very quickly. So this book, I think I've recommended before checking out Alex Macris' book called Arbiter of Worlds, which is basically how to build your own sandbox campaign using 6 Mile hexes. And this could be considered a very good, very useful supplement for that, because it's basically about how to fill in the details within each of those 6 Mile hexes beyond the stuff like the big dungeons and mega dungeons and so forth. And what this is basically is a book of random tables. Remember what I said about random tables? Random tables are great. And for generating things like you'll roll one die to tell how many terrain features are in a hex, and then another to tell how many layers are in a hex. Layers being could be anything from humans, settlements, or bandit camps to they could be like kobold layers or a dragon's lair, depending. And you could roll on all that. But this covers caves and cave systems and the length and the depth of the cave systems and the kind of rock outcrop, the changes in elevation, structures, a lot of spaces given to burial grounds for obvious reasons, monuments, statues, excuse me, forts, infrastructure like bridges and viaducts and aqueducts and there's water courses, still water and moving water. How good is the fishing in the water? How deep is the water? Interesting like archaeological artifacts, or is there mills there, and what kind of vegetation is there? What kind of animals inhabit the area? What kind of ore and precious metals you'll find there? How settled is the land? Like, is there there's ley lines and magic stuff? Is the land cursed? Is there are there dungeons here? Indications of other travelers? Is there all kinds of excellent features. This is probably not revolutionary. I don't think it's revolutionary. Certainly, there's probably other books like this, but this is a pretty good representation of how you'd go about without making all of your own random tables and stuff like that. It's not super complete. It's only it's less than 100 pages, but it is nicely done. There's a lot of good. There's a lot of good stuff in here. There's specific examples. And so a hex crawl, if you're only familiar with dungeon crawls, like hex crawl requires you to do a lot of the OSRs, old school style things, where you very much have to keep track of resources. How much food do you have? How much how many miles you travel, how often you have to change horses, how much food can you carry with you. Encumbrance is very important, because then things like how good fishing are the rivers, how well stocked are the game lands. If you're traveling through a desert, it's the fatigue. So that kind of stuff is very important. If you skip that stuff in your games, well, don't. Okay. Now, that said, I would not have backed this Kickstarter had I known, and I recommend that you do not back it, because of this nonsense in the back. See this crap? This rainbow OSR for all, and that rainbow is not the rainbow of God's covenant after the flood. No, sir. I really hate this political grandstanding and virtue signaling. Because for a couple reasons. One, it's insincere. For one, there's the idea that the OSR is bigoted. The OSR is full of Nazis, which is just entryist, leftist communist scum who basically don't play RPGs. And they really have no interest in the OSR style of play generally. And they come in there, they're story gamers, they're D&D 5e or Pathfinder types that have 8 pages of character backstory. And their characters have the mental illness haircut and the purple hair, and they're trans orc, bisexual, dragonkin, but I don't even know what that means. Like, does that mean that they're a dragonkin that pretends they're an orc, or an orc that pretends they're a dragonkin? But whatever. The other instance here, part of it is that it's like for all, because they're so inclusive, and they're not like the rest of us. But obviously, it's not for all. It's not for people that are not leftists. It's not for people that believe in traditional moral values, that believe that a man is a man or a woman is a woman. Those people they're bigoted, they're evil, they need to be cast off. It's obviously not for people that believe that homosexuality is one of the 4 sins that cries out to heaven for vengeance. I'm sure, when they say for all, people like that, people like me, people that just maybe don't even care about that, but don't want to turn everything into a Maoist struggle session. They just want to play a game, and they want to escape, and they want to live in a fantasy world, not a replay of their exaggerated idea of what the modern world looks like, but just with people with pointy ears and stuff who are just the same as everybody else, and they don't really act any different because they're just these people with these mental illnesses trying to work out their problems in a fantasy world. Yeah, so that's disappointing. Leave your hate in the comments. Okay. That about does it for your RPG stuff. I'm going to have a bit of scotch here. Enjoy myself. Yeah, that's good. Okay. I'm just going to go right and say, I don't really like alcohol, and I didn't drink scotch until I watched Little Wars TV, and they're always drinking scotch on there. And so I thought, boy, scotch must be a wargamers thing. And I've been a wargamer for, I'm 38 now, and I've been a wargamer for, I don't know, 25 years. So, and I don't really drink scotch. And then it's like, you know what? I should do it. I should get into it. I found out scotch is like $80 or more a bottle. But yeah, I don't know. It's like you get, if you get into cowboy action shooting, you have to wear the cowboy hat, right? You got to get a horse. You're going to be a reenactor, right? You got to get the outfit and everything, the uniform. You got to talk like they did back then. So yeah. Okay, moving on to miniature games. These I actually bought myself and my wife. Someone, and I'm sorry, I forget who. Some delightful person on the comment section of my Anti-Games Workshop video said how much they liked this Monsterpocalypse game, and I'd never heard of this, but it sounds right up my alley. I really wanted to get involved in one of Warlord's sub studios does a Pacific Rim game, but it only has like 2 miniatures, and it's based on the second Pacific Rim movie, and I hate the second Pacific Rim movie. I really like Pacific Rim 1. And my wife does as well. And she's right here, by the way. And I'm going to pause this video and then get right back to you. So the reason my wife came up was because my daughter, her new baby, pooped herself and got it all over her body. So where was I? Yes, Monsterpocalypse. So someone in the comments recommended this game, and it seemed right up my alley, and my wife is a big fan of Pacific Rim, and pretty much all my friends like giant monsters. So what I did is I bought everybody in our game group, every active player anyway, a monster they're choosing. I asked them vague questions of, you know, what would you prefer? So my wife couldn't decide between the these are basically, obviously this is more like Rodan, but this is sort of the Godzilla faction. The what's it called? The pterosaurs, right? They're like giant radioactive dinosaurs. Or Guard, which is like Ultraman, I guess, or Gundam, or Voltron, right? Something more like, I guess probably more like Voltron or later Ultraman. So I got these two for us to, and whichever one she doesn't want to play, I'll play. For my friend Russ, he liked the trans-dimensional Soviet conquerors with their giant diesel punk mechs, which are kind of like Cherno Alpha combined with the Heap or something from Star Wars. So he really liked that one. He also plays the Russians in Konflikt 47, but he not as communist. But anyway, yeah. So he got the trans-dimensional communist invaders. Jeff liked the Kingdom of the Apes, so I gave him an ape general that carries a ICBM trailer and uses it like a rocket launcher. It's very cool. And Bill, I got a Cthulhu type monster from that faction. But yeah, these are, I'm going to open them up so you can take a look. These are unpainted. They're a combination of resin and pewter pieces. These are very cheap, by the way. They're like 27, you know, so these are larger, like, feature monsters, but they also come with sort of like cannon fodder monsters, which may be hover tanks, they may be, you know, flying submarines, they may be Shantak birds, they may be little Martian flying saucers, and then they come in like larger mega thing with larger scale main monsters, which would be like this, or large Martian tripods, or earth burrowing machines, or Godzillas or something. Yeah, but these are very similar to actually the Konflikt 47 resin kits. Are a combination of resin and pewter. Haven't put any together, but they're only a few pieces. I said they're like $25 to $30. Very affordable game to get into, and if you have a 3D printer, you can just print all the buildings. They actually do sell buildings for it, but there's enough buildings out there that you can print your own very affordably. And by the way, there's like 18 factions in this game. I think there's 9 protector factions and 9 destroyer factions. And although like they're different factions, they can ally with each other if they're within the various categories. I think they call them agendas. I haven't played this game. I think the rules are available to download free online. But if you like giant monsters, you can check it out, right? Okay, so I think I said in a previous video, I don't need any more stuff for bolt action Konflikt 47, and that's true. I have a significant U.S. Army, but you'll notice I mostly didn't buy U.S. stuff here. So what happened was Warlord had a couple good deals at once. They had their discount shipping to America. They had their Thanksgiving sale, where you get 2 tanks and get the third, or 3 tanks and get the 4th free. And they had a Konflikt 47 deal. So I combined all these together and ended up saving like $69 on my order. So what I did, I got Russ, who I said previously plays Russians. I got him a T-34. But then I also got, because I also have Germans, I didn't actually build or paint any, right? One day I may sell them or something. But I do like a lot of their models, like all of their kits, especially, excuse me, this King Tiger X with heavy railgun, which I like railguns. I like the King Tiger. I like that this can flatten buildings on a roll of an 11 with a +8. I like that it can shoot from diagonal edge to diagonal table edge without a reduction in damage. Hard to say no to this thing. So this was on sale, so I got this. And then I figured, well, since I'm getting another tank, I might as well throw in the Thanksgiving thing. So I got the T-34 for us. I got a Stug 3. I always like the Stug. Supposedly one of the most effective weapons in the German arsenal, real life. And I got a Panzer 4. The reason I got this is I have 2 of the gravity force field generators. And I use them on my Navarone mountain, which I haven't finished yet. But if I want to swap them out, I can easily swap them out on there for the Panzer 4X with the gravity generator. So yeah, these, you've probably seen these before. It was a good deal. Like I said, it saved $69 on this. But okay, so there was the 3 tanks I got, and then the one I got for free is the M7 Priest, which does not come in a box. Comes wrapped in bubble wrap, which I had to keep my son from taking. He's 4 and he loves bubble wrap. The Priest, if you watch my other video, you know I already have a 3D printed Priest, but it is a defrocked Priest. This is a regular Priest. The defrocked Priest is they took the artillery piece out, and it's used for, well, this is interesting, this is resin. Anyway, I use it for troop transport purposes. They didn't really have armored personnel carriers back then, except for like the half-tracks. But yeah. So I use that to carry my power armor. This one, since I also have some British troops, don't ask. This could be British, or it could also augment my American forces. And yeah, I really don't like go on. This is interesting. This is a resin. How does this even go on? All right, it doesn't seem to fit right. Huh? No. There? No, there. Yeah, that's fine. So this is a resin hull. You can see this is very nice resin. There's like no warping. There's no flash that I can see. Very impressive, and it has pewter. It comes with a crew. It comes with a 3-man crew. I love crewed vehicles. I don't know if you can see that. It goes with the actual. I think it's a 105mm gun. I think, of course, it comes with the smoke fire markers. So this is. It does come with. The data card and sticker, and it was packed by Judith. Thank you, Judith. Warlord always tells you who packed your product, so that you get sort of that assurance of quality that a real person organized all this. And if you're missing a piece, Warlord is very good about sending you stuff. I think I mentioned that in another video. This looks very nice. The models, I should say, a little bit superior detail to my free. Well, there's a bit of flashing, but to my free resin 3D print model. But I ain't gonna complain about that one either. That was a very excellent design. We got that. I also got U.S. tank crew. Now the reason I got this is because I bought an M46 tank, which I also used in Konflikt 47. I would have got the Pershing, but they didn't have it at the local game store. But I made mine with an open turret. I may also make one of my walkers and put one of these guys in there. Actually, I need another walker to make, so I probably need to get the Grizzly. That's the only American walker I don't have for Konflikt 47. So I got that. This is related, but is not made by either Italeri or Warlord. This is my P61 Black Widow. I saw this at Michael's. I don't like to support Michael's, but I was in there killing time, and this was actually a good price. This was $17 for a 1/48 scale kit. Now, what am I getting a 1/48 scale plane for? Well, because they don't make 1/56 scale airplanes, and true 28mm is about 1/56 scale. So that's what they make the bolt action Konflikt 47 vehicles in 1/56 scale. But as I've commented on before, the figures are actually usually a little larger, especially the plastic ones. And they're also because they're not quite the goofy Games Workshop heroic scale where your wrist is as big as your bicep and everything. But they are okay. Not that there's anything wrong with that, by the way. I do like the heroic scale. It's good for a certain aesthetic. But anyway, it's not. They're neither. They're not. They're literally bigger than 28 millimeters if you measure them. From foot to eye or from foot to top of the head, doesn't matter. They're literally bigger than that. The heroic scale ones are more like 30 to 32 millimeter. And they're sort of out of proportion. And that's okay. But anyway, these the bolt action stuff is more true, closer to true, 28 millimeter, but it's still semi-heroic, right? So they look a bit bigger and chunky next to the. It doesn't still. You still can't really believe you could pack 10 men into a half track. However, at 1/48 scale, this looks very close to accurate. So I'm not. It would probably be something like 1/50th. I don't know, and it depends on the miniature in question. But anyway, 1/48 scale is very close, and 1/48 scale is probably the 1/72 scale is a little small. Like it'd be fine if you wanted to mount it as like on a pedestal because it's farther up, and it's strafing the field or running to a palm and running. But I bought this because I won the one. It was for sale, $17. The P61 Black Widow is an awesome looking plane. It has an awesome name. It looks awesome. It's a night fighter. It has radar in it. It got in real life, the last enemy kill in World War II, which I think is what is depicted on this box here. But it looks really great, and I'm going to make it probably as a prop to put on like an airfield. I won't have it shot down. I have another plane that I'm going to have shot down in the jungle. But yeah, this would be a background piece of terrain for raid on an airfield or. Maybe I'm not going to model it being damaged, but maybe it was abandoned or they ran off the runway while the Japanese hordes are attacking. Their ridiculous compression rifles that fire 3 shots. Anyway, so yeah, I really like the Black Widow. I'll hopefully enjoy making this, and. This is made by Revell, who also made my Nazi UFO, the Hounaboo. I'll have to compare that because that's 1/72nd scale, but whatever. Nobody really knows how big that was. Probably because it didn't exist, but maybe it did. Look at that turret on there. But yeah, this is gonna be awesome. Yeah, so that's all the game related stuff I got for Christmas. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, smash that like button, subscribe, and leave a comment. I would like to hear what you guys got for Christmas or Hanukkah or Kwanzaa or whatever the hell you celebrate. I don't know, do you give gifts for Kwanzaa? I don't know. I don't think anybody knows. If somebody's birthday, maybe give gifts for New Year's. I don't know. Let me know what kind of cool stuff you got. Let me know if you got any funny gag gifts. Let me know if Santa did not leave you what you were looking for, because those stories help to remind the rest of us of how good we have it. And I know it's been tough for a lot of people to get gifts. In all seriousness, and kind of a somber note, to get even basic things. With how messed up the economy is, the supply chain, businesses being closed, all this other very unfortunate, very avoidable, very unnecessary situation that we find ourselves in. So I also extend my thoughts and prayers for those people who are suffering, and who, if you're, hopefully everybody got to spend time with their family and friends. I know some people have gotten quite ridiculous over the last 2 years that are not seeing their family and friends. I hope you're not suffering from that, but if you are, you certainly, I know how you feel. I'm with you spiritually, if not physically, and leave a comment, commiserate with us, and celebrate with us as well. But actually, before I go, bonus story. I mentioned about GameStop several minutes ago. Well, one of the things that Santa did not leave my son was the new HeroQuest game. Now it's no big deal because I got last year the original, a copy of the original HeroQuest. Yeah, mine's long gone, but I do still have some interest for it. But I got him the full complete game. He loves it. He's too young to play it, right? But he has memorized the HeroQuest video. In fact, when we go into the GameStop, the local friendly local game store, when he sees the Games Workshop logo on the side of the rack, he walks up to it and goes, boom, 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 boom. It's really funny. And he starts telling everybody about the gargoyle, and you can't even tell what this is, but he just likes the toy soldiers basically. But he's really into HeroQuest and games like that. And sorry about whacking the camera again. So what I thought, I wanted to save those elite miniatures for a later time when he and I can paint them together. And I thought I'd get him the new HeroQuest one from Hasbro. It looked okay. So actually what I was going to do is I was going to get him the expansion sets because I don't have the original expansion sets. So I called up the local GameStop and I said, hey, do you have, this was a week before Christmas. I called them up and I said, hey, do you have the expansion sets? And they said, no, we do not. However, for $125, we have the main set. I said, okay, well, maybe I'll be in and take a look at that. And they said, come on in. So a couple hours later, drove down there, asked to look at it. The guy asked if I was a guy on the phone. I said, yeah, and he was telling me about everything. I was like, yeah, I didn't need to be sold. But I looked at it. I thought, it was this reasonable deal. It looks nice. When I asked if it was $125, he said, yes, sir. And I said, okay, I will take it. And he said, well, let's see if I get any other details here. And he scans it and he says, oh, actually, I can't sell this to you. And I'm waiting for his explanation. He says, yeah, actually, this is pre-order only. We can't sell it until December 25th. And of course, we're closed December 25th. Would you like to pre-order it? And I just turned and walked out without saying anything because, that's bullshit. Not only did they lose, I'm not a GameStop person really, but I probably haven't bought anything from them in years, but I definitely won't ever buy anything from them again. I just never argue with people who don't want my money. And I find these days so many people don't want my money. But yeah, so he lost a $125 sale right on the spot. Wasted my time. No indication of this on the phone. So I left a nasty gram for GameStop corporate. Sent them an email about it. Tell them how displeased I was that they lost me as a customer forever. And the other thing was, would you like to get it after Christmas? Well, it's a effing Christmas gift. No, I don't want it after Christmas. So anyway, eventually a few days later I get a response from them and they say, oh, well, we're very sorry. We're not sorry enough to do anything about it. Not sorry enough to make it up to you. But we'll forward your complaint to the store. I'm like, it's not, I'm sure it wasn't that this guy, this wage slave's, prerogative to sell it to me or not, right? Some stupid corporate policy. They train these people and they don't ask questions, don't sell. Because their meme stonks are gonna drive them to high sales. They don't need customer sales, I guess. Yeah, so anyway, that's my GameStop story. Also, let me know in the comments if you have a bad GameStop story. I think that's about it. I want to wish each and every one of you a very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. I hope everyone has a much better 2022 than they did in the last several. Hope it's the best year of your life. And I hope you'll stop back because I will, as I find time, be doing some more videos about the projects I'm working on. I will show you some of the terrain I've been working on, and I think we'll also be doing some crossovers with some channels you like, and maybe some interviews as well. So again, thank you very much. This is Mike from Attention Span Labs, signing off.